Ringside Reality.
Hey everyone, welcome to Ringside Reality for August 19th, 2016. It's old Topher White back at it again with my co-host, Thon Lilly. How's it going today, Thon?
Oh, it's going.
Yeah? I'm here sitting down watching two cats kill each other every bit. Alright, calm down! Can't wait! Alright, sorry about that. I got another cat. There's always cat story in the podcast when we hit the podcast, isn't it? It's always like a cat story, it seems like.
This is your crazy cat guy.
Apparently. I gotta stop that. Every time I open up the podcast, you ask me about my cats. I gotta stop that. I don't want to get a reputation of the old crazy cat lady.
You, because you are.
I only got two cats for anyone wondering how many cats I got, which is not too bad. I think that's normal. Two cats is not extreme. So, it was another week. We're only like, what is this, 2 days away from the biggest party of summer, what?
It's a big week in wrestling this week. We got a lot to talk about.
We do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that a question? Was that a question or a statement? We do?
Well, the question's not really a question if you know the answer too, because we do.
We've been talking the last few days about everything going on, and every time we sort of cut you off, and then I'm like, oh, we'll discuss this on the podcast. So
yeah, but the thing is I got a short memory. Like, so much, we're nerds, obviously, fucking mega losers, but anyways, no, we're super losers. So, even stuff that people wouldn't talk about in wrestling, like stuff just like, oh, fucking Big Show bought a pack of gum at a fucking store in friggin' Harlem, Wisconsin somewhere. I'm like texting you. It's just nothing that goes on that we don't talk about in great length too, apparently. So, but there's a lot of content this week, I guess you could say, right? So,
well, I guess we'll start with,
because there's so much of that.
We'll start with Raw, I guess. Well, like who won the Raw and SmackDown war this week?
Okay.
So, in my opinion, SmackDown won. What do you think?
I thought SmackDown was hands down a better show. I don't think SmackDown was like a mate. I don't know. It's like looking at 1,000 pieces of shit and picking out the best one. Like, SmackDown was okay. It was a good show. It wasn't fucking amazing. But I think because Raw was so shit, and by the way, Raw was fucking garbage this week, it makes SmackDown look even better, I guess, because SmackDown really doesn't have to do anything. Like, you can bring back the Red Rooster and have him fight the Gobbledygooker on SmackDown, and people will still say it's probably better than what was on Raw. So, I guess they won by default, Johnny? Is that how it works?
I would say.
Like, SmackDown was a pretty decent show, yeah?
Yeah, there's a couple of mistakes they made on Raw, in my opinion. So, we could probably discuss that. One of the minor mistakes was the fact that Darren Young and Titus O'Neil got back together for a tag team. They did their entrance before anybody even knew that they were back together. Because they showed the before Raw thing, the pre-show WWE Network thing, what they got back together, after they did their entrance. So, soon as they came out, I never watched this WWE exclusive thing where they had an interview and they got back together. So I'm watching the show and two of them come out together, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? How come, weren't they feuding last week? I don't have any idea why they're together. Then, after they do their entrance, Michael Cole's like, yeah, so this happened earlier today, and then it shows them in an interview together. Wouldn't that have been better to do before they actually made their entrance?
Well, yes it would.
Because not everybody watches WWE.com and like fucking religiously. I'm not on it all day refreshing the page to see if Titus O'Neil and Darren Young's got something on the go.
Well, if we don't know what's going on, like I said, we're pretty much obsessed, and God fucking knows nobody else does. So, I never really picked up on that until you just mentioned it, to be honest with you, but yes, that makes no sense at all. I don't understand. Because I was the same way. Your music hit, and I had to like forget the last 2 years. I almost forgot that they weren't even a tag team anymore because they're so irrelevant. But I looked at it, I was like, oh, Primetime Players, and I was like, wait a minute, they're not even a fucking tag team anymore. They haven't been a tag team since like 2012, so it made no sense. And then, yeah, like you said, they showed the package after, so that was a blunder. That was one of Johnny's blunders for this week, we'll call it. Another blunder from Johnny. What's the second blunder on Raw?
Oh, well, the biggest one of all.
And well, there's two big ones.
Well, Demon King, or Demon Kane / King, or whatever.
It's Kane!
So, the fact that Seth Rollins was calling out the Demon King, but it sounded like he was saying Demon Kane.
He was saying Demon Kane, by the way.
Like, he was going around backstage like, Demon Kane, Demon Kane.
Well, he started off outside the arena at the first of the show, and he stand up by a fucking statue or something, or a gazebo or something, and he's like, I'm coming for you, Demon Kane, and I was like, what the fuck's going on here? I was like, who's Demon Kane? Because I had been told from a guy who knows a guy that took a cab with a guy that Demon Finn Balor was in NXT and it was a demon. I didn't know his name was Demon King. This is the first I ever heard this shit. So I don't even know who the fuck he was talking about. I'm like, who's the Demon King? Did he not go by the Demon only in NXT? Who the fuck is Demon King?
So they kind of changed it when he come up to the main roster to be
the
Demon King. Well, apparently.
You know, that's super fucking cheesy. Why would it... First of all, it sounds too much like the Demon King, first of all. So why would they change it? Because it's like, let's call him Demon King. Not one person in creative meeting or production meeting went, hold on, this sounds exactly like fucking Demon Kane. We shouldn't call him Demon King. Apparently they're not bright enough to do that. But anyway, that's all I had to say, really.
Why couldn't they just call him like the Demon Balor?
I don't know why they just don't keep calling him the Demon, yeah. Like, you don't have to call him Demon anything. Just call him the Demon. Like, anyway,
but man,
yeah, so what you're getting at, I guess, is...
Demon.
Like, it's on right now. I'm watching fucking Superstars here on WWE Network. And it's actually, right now they're showing the full segment, and the Demon Kane is fucking doing that roll thing where he gets the crowd to... So I'm actually watching it. So I'm being refreshed to what you're saying right now.
The biggest blunder, the whole... Like, I can't even really get over it, is that they gave away the debut of the Demon King on Raw in a throwaway segment before the main event. I don't understand it. To me, it cheapens the main event, or the quote-unquote main event at SummerSlam. The Universal title seems like a joke right now, to me anyway. It just doesn't make any sense. Why couldn't... Alright, let's say they're going to debut him on Raw. They've done a lot of stuff on Raw that's been big, you know what I mean? Back in the day. I'm not going to say that it shouldn't have been done on Raw. But have it at the end, so it's a big deal. It's a big surprise. And then you can end with that visual of Finn Balor as the Demon on the stage, triumphant, that kind of deal. But no, we got that, and then we had to watch Rusev versus Roman Reigns. Sure, I was done. I wanted to go home. Like, I wanted to turn it off. I didn't want to see Roman Reigns versus Rusev. Fuck that. Well, that's boring in comparison to watching Finn Balor come out as the Demon. Like,
well, I disagree with that. I think Reigns and Rusev's been a better feud than Balor and Rollins.
Oh, the feud itself.
Possibly. Like, I'm more interested in seeing Reigns versus fucking Rusev, only because of Rusev, really. Well, Reigns has been okay, but I thought Rusev stepped his game up, so I'm kind of interested in him a little bit. And Lana's hot as fuck.
The promos are good, but I don't find the matches exciting. I
thought they had a decent match, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. The segment,
I'm just not interested in any of it.
They ruined it. No, I'm not interested in none of it. I'm interested in Ziggler and Ambrose. We'll get to that after, but the segment itself, like, I don't know, this is a podcast, so I might as well just speak my feelings. Like, I thought it was corny as fuck. The whole Demon King thing, and Seth Rollins, grown-ass man, being afraid of someone who puts makeup on, is like something out of grade fucking 2. It's like a fairy tale or something. I know it's wrestling, but at the end of the day, we're supposed to be in this new wrestling era. This ain't the 80s anymore. Either decide what you're going to do. Are you going to do 80s fucking gimmicks with makeup and fucking Papa Shango putting mist in your face and shit, putting curses on you? Or are you going to do in-ring product where guys actually wrestle and call it the new era, which is what they're aiming for, bringing in indie guys? So I thought it was cheesy as shit, and Rollins being afraid of him makes no sense. But my biggest gripe with it is I thought the entrance was pretty cool. Like, I've never really seen it in full, and I thought everything was done okay until Balor starts doing moves, and he doesn't look intimidating at all. He looks like a fucking cruiserweight. So he comes in as a demon, and as soon as he starts doing these kicks, which is all anybody fucking does anyways, kicks and tapping their leg to make the sound effect, he comes in and everything's okay. I'm like, well, this is kind of cool. And as soon as his offense started, it looked weak to me. I'm like, there's no way Rollins would be taking this from this little fucking run. Kick him out of the ring, smash his face into a fucking step or something. And once he started, I thought the crowd was into it a little bit, not as much as they should have been. But as soon as he started his offense, I thought the crowd just sat there and went like, no, I'm not buying this. And I think that's the biggest problem here, is no matter what the fuck people want to see in Balor and all these mercs and everything, he's just not big enough, man. The guy's a fucking little tiny guy. The guys in the Cruiserweight Classic are bigger than fucking Balor. Like, that fucking guy that Brian Kendrick took on is 10 times as big as Balor. So my problem is, I'm suspending disbelief, trying to anyway, but it's too much for me. He's even smaller than Daniel Bryan, man. Like, I can't, he's 160 fucking pounds. So, and he's going for the heavyweight championship. like, Brock Lesnar doesn't have any good feuds anymore because the WWE doesn't have any good big men anymore to go against him to make him look reasonable. That's why all Lesnar's feuds suck, because they haven't built up one guy that's actually a decent-sized fella that can intimidate someone. And that's why the next feud with fucking, if you don't bring back Goldberg, Brock Lesnar's next feud will be shit too, because there's just no one to go up against him because they haven't built anyone. But it was a mistake to bring him out as a demon, but I thought that they lost him when he started doing shit. I'm like, this does not look... Now, why does he do the same fucking moves as the demon? He's a guy in makeup. Like, it's so retarded to actually think that a guy goes to the dollar store and buys some fucking makeup, puts it on his face, comes in, and all of a sudden he's unstoppable. It makes no sense. It's literally Papa Shango putting a curse on your fucking material. That's my opinion on that. I hope at SummerSlam they have a good match, because this feud has sucked big time. There's no interest in this feud. Nobody cares. The audience doesn't give a fuck. The U.S. title's got more buzz. They're not getting behind Balor like they expected. Rollins is carrying the fucking feud. He's trying, as far as I can see. Like, he's trying to do something, but I think it's a fail on all levels, Topher's opinion.
I think the creative kind of blew it on it. Like, okay, the entrance is cool. I like the entrance.
I did too.
I agree with you. Again, this is my opinion. They should have either not debuted him on Raw a few weeks ago. If they did, though, have him come out as the demon. Keep him quiet. He shouldn't have talked. He shouldn't have said a fucking thing. They should have just built it until SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah. They did that too. They let him talk. And you said that months ago. Yeah. You said, don't let him fucking speak because he's Irish.
Have just, like, I don't give a fuck what you has. Have a voiceover on, like, not the promos, but, the vignettes, like the video packages and stuff.
Yeah.
Have a voiceover like they did there last week or whatever. And just tease the fact that, like, these are two different, like, he's almost like got a split personality or something. I don't know. I know you got to suspend your disbelief a little bit. It is pro wrestling.
A little bit, but this is goddamn insulting is what this is.
I understand what you're saying because you watch Cesaro versus Kevin Owens, and there's no actual story at all. It's just, I'm a better wrestler than you. Then the next match, you're taking on a demon? Is this comic books or is it real life? You know what I mean? What are they trying to go for here?
That's what I mean. And I remember on like 3 podcasts back, or 2, I said the same thing. I said they got to decide what the fuck they want to do. Like, what direction is the company going? Like I said, Attitude Era, they knew where they were going. Everyone was going to have fucking fake dicks, and they were going to chop each other's cocks off in the urinal. And fucking they were going to give birth to hands, and Austin was going to flip the bird and drink beer. Everybody was going down this, all roads lead to the same path in the Attitude Era. In the 80s, it was all this Finn Balor shit. It was gimmicks, Ultimate Warrior, colorful clothing. They always knew their way. Right now, I don't know, they're like stuck in the middle or something, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know what they're doing. 1 minute you got, like you just said, Cesaro versus Owens as like a straight-up wrestling match. 2 minutes later, there's a dude coming out asking for Demon King, and he's afraid of him, and he comes out dressed as a fucking demon. I don't know, like, I'm just like, it's weird. It's just, the product is weird, or Raw, I should say, is weird right now, in my opinion. But let me ask you a question. Are they over-pushing Balor too fast, in your opinion? Should he have come in and been brought in like a normal guy gets brought in, or are you okay if it was booked right, coming in and getting shot to the top of the main card of SummerSlam first match? Do you think they're pushing him too fast?
There's 2 sides to that story, I think. Now, I'm a huge Balor mark. Like, I like Finn Balor.
Oh no, I just mean like if you're a Balor mark, you might want to do what's best for him too. Like, do you just I don't know, like,
how do you bring him in? So this is what I would look at that way. So you bring him in. He's supposed to be a big deal. Is what they're trying to make it seem like. He's supposed to be a big deal that he's here. So you bring him in and you don't push him to the top, and then he kind of seems like he's not a big deal, or does he come in, you push him to the top, and then he gets overexposed?
Okay.
So that's what you got to kind of look at.
Okay, let me run you with a narrative, though, before. I don't want to cut you off, but let me run you with a narrative. When Kane came in, he was supposed to be a big-ass deal, correct? Yes. I mean, they built him up for a year, man, with Paul Bearer saying Undertaker killed his family and all that. When Kane came in, he went in a feud with The Undertaker. It had nothing to do with the title. It was probably upper mid-card at best at the time. Shawn was champion, Brett was there, Austin was the new hottest guy. Undertaker and Kane were like 5th, 6th match on the show material at that time. He came in with a lot of fucking hype, but what they didn't put him, what they're doing with Balor. I think they could have found a place for Balor that didn't make him look weak, but also didn't put him right at the upper echelon of the company. I don't, like,
well,
couldn't he have went in a feud with someone, like, he could have went in a feud with someone, not for the titles, I guess is all I'm saying, not the marquee match. I think it's hurting him.
Went into a feud with Rollins for that matter, just not for any Universal title. Why didn't they just maybe hold off the Universal title until after SummerSlam?
I think, well, SummerSlam's a big show and it's a good time to introduce the title. I think the push has killed him, first of all, because he's not getting that over. And the reason why, I think there's two reasons why, is because he's getting pushed too fast and people haven't had enough time to soak him in. Like, you can't tell people who 70% of them don't. He's a big deal, but who is he a big deal to? He's a big deal to me and you and fucking nerds on the internet. He's not a big deal to everybody else. But how much time does everybody else have to get to know him before this big match at SummerSlam? 4 Raws? That's not enough time to get invested in anybody. There's no time for this guy to get over with anyone. He's not getting pops like he should, because the only people popping are nerds like you and me. So he's going into the biggest match of SummerSlam, but he's got no cachet behind him, man, because they haven't had enough time to build a story for him. And then on top of that, he's really fucking small, and his offense is he got a cruiserweight offense in a heavyweight division. That's fucking weird, because even small guys like Benoit and shit, they were tiny, but they were savages, man. That guy could wrestle. Balor's offense is cruiserweight style almost, and I don't know how good it's going to mix with the heavyweight division, but I don't know. Who the fuck do I know he is?
One of the only times I agree with Vince Russo.
Oh god.
And on his podcast today, they sort of talked about the same thing about how like he believes Balor's too small to be in that. Now he's Vince Russo. He's all about the big guys. I just take him for what. But there's a few things that I did agree with him. He feels that Balor should always wear the makeup. That should be his character, the Demon. Should be his character. This leather jacket, Fonzie, what he said, the Fonzie lookalike with the collar up leather jacket, doesn't work, is what he believes. The contrast between these two characters doesn't mesh. It doesn't mesh at all. So either he's one or the other. So if he's one guy with a leather jacket on with his popped collar, and he's a cool dude or whatever, or he's the goddamn Demon, one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand why in NXT and the Indies and New Japan and stuff, why he wasn't always the Demon. Because he's been doing that gimmick forever. Over in New Japan, he was dressing as the Joker and as Venom and as Carnage and all these different characters. It takes him like 6 hours to put that body paint on. So that's why he didn't always do it, because it's a bit of a process to put it on, right? I understand that when he was in NXT and in New Japan and on the Indies, because you're a fucking nobody, right? You're not going to sit there for 6 hours every goddamn day putting on makeup. But you're in the big leagues, you're on Raw, where you got people putting the fucking makeup on for you, and you're only doing that one show once a week that you got to put the makeup on. House shows, fuck it, have him come out regular Finn Balor in a house show. But on TV, pay-per-view, he should have the makeup on as the Demon, in my opinion. And that's one of the times I agree with Vince Russo. Vince Russo said the same thing. He should be the Demon. That's it. That's where the selling point is. If you're going to sell merchandise, if you're going to try to sell him as an actual threat, you sell him as the Demon, because, in my opinion, him dressing as the Demon and like having the paint on and having the whole like get up and the smoke and mirrors and stuff would hide the fact that he's so small. In my opinion, it would. Because then they could say he gets his power from being the Demon. It doesn't matter how small he is. He can stand up to these guys because he's a fucking demon.
Well, it's just weird seeing a demon come, like when Kane used to come in as a demon back in the day. Holy fucking crap, look at the size of it. He'd kill people. When Taker first debuted and came as a dead man, holy fucking crap, look what he'd do to people in the ring. He'd maul them. When he comes out, it's weird. I don't know. I agree with you though, like I think he should be all the time. Like, I really do. I agree with you when it comes to the collar, leather jacket thing. He should just lose it.
Yeah, I don't even get it. The first time I seen him, he walked out on stage when they announced his name and he pops his collar up with his leather jacket on. I'm like,
wow.
What?
I don't know. We won't spend too much time on him. Like, I don't know. Like, no. To me, the feud's not working. He's not. I think he's marketable. I think he's got money in him. He can sell merchandise. I think he's going to be someone that people like. I don't think he should be in the heavyweight division based off what I've seen so far. Now I've been proved wrong, and I'm only a wrestling fan like everybody else. And there's lots of people that I probably said that about. But based off the NXT stuff I've seen and the first 4 weeks, is keep him the fuck away from the heavyweight division. I would, at least for now, maybe cash in an underdog story in a few years and give him the run with the belt. But as far as being constantly involved with Rollins and Reigns and Lesnar and fucking Ambrose and all these guys, I think he can make a lot of money for the company in the upper mid card as a very big selling point, kind of like Kevin Owens is right now. So, like, he's a solid guy, could make the company money. He ain't no fucking flagship. He's just too small. That's my opinion. He's smaller than I thought, I guess I'll say. I didn't think he was that small. Like, he's really small.
Well, speaking of cashing in, I was just thinking, maybe they could have put him in, like, the IC title picture, if he was on SmackDown, I guess, or, like, US title on Raw or whatever, and have him win the Money in the Bank next year. And
well, that's the thing. But that's what, I don't want to spend too much time on him, but that's what gets him over, is so everyone that comes in, man, like, that's the whole fucking point, is you take time to build someone up so that the fans get time to learn your story, learn your character, rally behind you. You become a thing. All of a sudden, people start getting invested in you. You're like, this guy's been here 9 months and he hasn't had a title shot yet. This guy's been here a year and he's in Money in the Bank. Maybe he'll finally get it. 1 week in, you beat fucking Rusev and Reigns and get shot to the top of the SummerSlam card. Just not enough time. This feud is flopped because it's not Balor's fault and it's not Rollins' fault. It's simply not enough time. That's all I'll say. There just was not enough time to do it. I would have held off until, like you just said, that's a good point. Maybe have him win Money in the Bank next year. That gives people like a year to learn his character, know what he's about, get behind him. But that's it. You touched on Rusev and Reigns. The feud's been okay again. Nothing's good really, so it's been better than I thought. We said it before when Reigns first came back. Best thing that could happen to him is go down to the upper mid card because there's no expectations on him. And he can kind of just be himself. I think Reigns is a good wrestler. He's had a lot of good matches last year. He was just shoved down people's throats. We all turned on him. I still don't like the guy, but he fits in better here. And that's basically all I got to say about Roman Reigns, is he's okay.
So, yeah, I guess that's all we'll talk about Raw. We'll talk about SmackDown now. What happened on SmackDown. So we'll start with probably a major angle in the first segment of SmackDown was Ziggler and Ambrose, which we both agreed was probably one of Ziggler's best promos.
Oh yeah, Ziggler nailed it. I thought he did a good job. It was the best promo that Ziggler cut in years. Maybe the best promo he ever cut, I guess. Technically, really, because not like he's known for being a stick guy. And it was really well done. The opening segment was well done. Like I said earlier, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It really worked well with Miz just kind of backing off, and Ambrose and Ziggler kind of making personal shots at each other. It really made the title feel like both of them want the title really bad, and it made it seem really important. I'm really looking forward to the match at SummerSlam. I am. I think it's going to be probably a showstealer. So it was a good segment to start. The first segment on SmackDown was better than ending on Raw, in my opinion.
Well, I said this to you before, but I think it's going to be I think it's going to be the best of the 3 main events that is going to happen at SummerSlam.
Do you think there's a possibility that I don't know, we talked about Balor and Rollins earlier, but as a wrestling match, I got high hopes for Rollins and Balor, I guess I could say. Like, as a wrestling match, it could be better than Ziggler and Ambrose maybe, but I don't even know if it will be, but
I think the emotions there in the Ziggler Ambrose match, I think you're gonna feel a bit more when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it'll be the best one. Well, maybe, but
when it comes to the false finishes, you know there's gonna be a bunch of them, and Ziggler's gonna sell his ass off. He's gonna be flopping around the goddamn ring like a fucking fish out of water, and I think everybody's gonna feel more for what's happening at that time. I think with the Rollins and Balor, there's still going to be some emotion, some feeling there, but you're not invested, like you said before, you're not invested in Balor yet. Nobody is. Nobody can be. He just got introduced. So everybody's a bit more into Ziggler and Ambrose. They know who they are. They know their past. They've been around for a while, so they know the characters and stuff. So I think everybody's going to be a bit more, into that.
Yeah, they've been around a long time. Everybody knows their story, right?
So, yeah, we'll talk about Heath Slater, I guess, next. That was probably the next big
A huge mark for Slater. He's underrated. He's always been underrated for years. He should have been pushed a long time ago. He's amazing on a mic. He sells a story really well. He's the best guy. He's the best guy on the mic in the whole fucking company, if you ask me. On the mic, as soon as he picks up the stick, I'm automatically like, oh, he's good on the microphone. I'll take Paul Heyman and shit out of it because he's a manager. But just as a wrestler, I find Heath Slater always has been. I don't know what it is about him. He's good on the mic. But like I said, his facial expressions are good. He sells a story with his body too. And you had mentioned to me via Messenger that you liked how he sold a Raw beating on SmackDown's entrance, which was like a bit of continuity.
Continuity?
Continuity, and you don't do that anymore. So that's kind of nice.
Well, do you think they're really going to push him, or just they're going to push him as a comedy character, like a Santino-esque character?
Oh, they'll probably just push him as he's not going to get pushed as, like, anything serious. I just think it's a travesty, because the guy's a fucking beast on the mic, man. Like, he has charisma, too. I don't understand the WWE selection process. You got someone like fucking Neville, who comes out and kicks and flips his ass around the ring, defies gravity or whatever the fuck he does. He can't talk. He doesn't do anything. He's small as shit, but they give him regular slot every Raw. Let's put Neville in a match. Then you got a guy like Heath Slater, who's a normal-sized, regular-looking dude, who has mad charisma, in my opinion, and really good mic skills, yet he's a comedy actor and a jobber. So, like, the selection process that the WWE has for who they push and who they don't is a bit mysterious to me, because if you ask me, Heath Slater he's every bit as good as, like, someone like Seth Rollins on the mic or something. Now, Seth Rollins is a little bit more gifted physically, I'm sure, because Heath Slater's not. I don't mean to compare the two of them like that. I just mean, like, on that, like, Rollins is at least a mid-card guy, Slater's a mid-card guy when it comes to selling a match and stuff. But they just he's Santino, like you said. That's all he'll ever be, as far as I can see. Like, he'll just be a Santino guy.
Which is a bit of a shame. I mean, there's no reason why you can't be, I don't know, like a fucking...
Give him a push, anyway.
Or a semi-mid-card push, you know what I mean? Like, give him a fucking run with the US title or something for, like, a couple weeks. Or, you know what I mean? Just give him some legitimacy. He's a former tag champ, so I don't know. He got that going for him.
Maybe they'll do the whole fucking... He's been around so long and been fucking kept down so long. Maybe they'll do the whole Ryder thing and give him his moment at SummerSlam or Mania or something in a couple of years just to say he had it. Like, I don't know if that's something that they got planned. He might get one good moment before he retires, because, like I said, I think he's pretty good. So that's a good storyline. SmackDown's off to a good start. I like the Heath Slater shit, which is on Raw and SmackDown, but I like the opening segment. And
next thing was Eva Marie and her entrance.
Eva Marie's thing is the fucking gold. That's fucking genius. Like, that's pure heel, what she's doing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Just pissing everybody off.
She's got the perfect heel. In good heat. She got bad heat. Last time she come back onto the main roster, not this time, the last time everybody thought she sucked, you know what I mean? Like, nobody wanted to see her and that kind of deal. Now I think she's getting actual good heat, because the entrance is fucking gold. The entrance had it. Oh yeah, they just had her and giving her that, like, she thinks she's the best and all this other crap. But then it's funny because she finds her ways out of the match that are kind of weird. Like I said, faking an injury, wardrobe malfunction, getting stuck in traffic, and this kind of stuff. So it's a wink kind of like, oh, we know she can't wrestle, so she's trying to find her way out of the matches. Yeah.
It's fantastic. The stuck in traffic one was fucking hilarious, boy. Like, I was waiting to see what it would be, but I didn't see that coming. But the guy that did the voiceover, he was fucking hilarious, saying she was stuck in traffic. But the only thing she's stuck in now is fucking rehab center, because that's on the fucking crack or something. SmackDown. We can't go through SmackDown without mentioning all the people that got suspended, because they're all on the show. So we might as well bring that up. Like, Del Rio and John Cena was the main event, which was a good match. And a good ending, but he's suspended too, so it's hard for us to keep going through SmackDown without mentioning, because we don't want to play everybody for a moron.
Yeah, Del Rio, Page,
everybody on SmackDown has been suspended, basically. They're just taking the show and saying, you're all done. That's the big news of the
Paige,
week, I guess.
well, Paige and Del Rio, you can almost put together. I think they just announced them at different times.
In that order,
there are a couple.
or Paige
so
might have went first, but either
I'm
way,
almost certain that whatever was going on there, both of them did the same thing and got caught the same time, or whatever. Eva Marie's boyfriend tweeted yesterday that she's been unjustly suspended, so I'm assuming that they believe that she was taking something that maybe the WWE knew about, maybe a prescription, could have been anything, really. We don't know what's going on in her personal life. She could be on like fertility drugs or fuck God knows what. That might have come up in a drug test, but WWE knew about it. When it came up in a drug test, they suspended her anyway. I don't know all the details, but he's saying that something's fishy about it and that details are going to come out in the future. The last time that happened was Adam Rose.
Yeah.
Look where that went.
Well, this guy needs to shut his fucking face if he wants his wife, because they're married, I think, to ever have a future in WWE. Because, like we discussed a few days ago about Joey Styles getting fired and all these guys getting suspended, and basically everyone's walking on eggshells. Vince and Triple H got thin skin. I mean, they talk about Donald Trump having thin skin because you can't even make fun of his fucking hands or whatever that thing fucking Ted Cruz did. Those two guys have the thinnest skin. You can't say anything. You cannot critique the WWE in any way at all, unless you're fucking Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, Roman Reigns, John Cena, or Seth Rollins, because they're basically untouchable. Other than that, anybody says a goddamn thing, you're fired. So this guy coming out and saying, "Ooh, look at me, I got some juicy details on this fucking suspension my wife just had," he must be looking to get her fucking ass fired, isn't he? Because if he knows WWE, Vince McMahon's going to be like, "Oh, you're done."
About the whole
just
Joey
mentioned Adam
Styles
Rose.
thing. So Joey Styles got
he needs to
fired
shut
last
up
week because
if he
some
wants to do what's
comments
best
he
for
made
their
on the
fucking
Q&A. Well, apparently that's what it was from. God knows what it was from, but he actually mentioned at the end of the Q&A that this is probably the reason why he's going to get fired in the future. So he kind of foretold his own firing. Okay. What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
So, like, and he didn't even say anything. Yeah, it was nothing really.
He did. He knew he was going to get fired.
Criticized the name Universal title. He talked about the 50-50 booking, I'm pretty sure. There's a few things he talked about. It wasn't that big a deal. And he's done. Just like that. So, but, we were talking about this before too. Brad Maddox goes out into a house show and says prick and gets fired their last year. Lesnar goes out and says shit on live TV and is not in trouble one bit. I read about it. I read it online. People were asking, well, is he going to get in trouble for it? No, they're not doing nothing to him. He can say what he wants. He can go out there and call them all cocksuckers, and they're not going to do a goddamn thing about it. It makes no sense, man. He fails a drug test in the UFC.
He can go out and call everybody's mom a dirty cocksucker and still have
SummerSlam now. So he failed a drug test like a month ago. Comes into back to the WWE. No drug test, no violation for the wellness policy.
Yeah,
then they come out and say, "Oh, part-timers don't get earn under the wellness policy." Well, that's fucking bullshit for one, because they're all under the same company. So that's like me saying I work at part-time at a fucking McDonald's, let's say. So I can go in coked out of my mind to work, and you can't do nothing to me because I'm part-time. I don't know. I haven't worked at McDonald's.
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous, man. It's like when you start a job at fucking. I've never worked at McDonald's, so don't take this for fucking as a legit story. But if you start working at McDonald's, or you work at anybody, actually, you work any place in the fucking world, they have a sexual harassment policy, for example. Do they not? Of course they do. Everybody has it. That's like saying, "Oh, my son, I works part-time at McDonald's." He goes in and starts fingering the old fucking missus to flip burgers and don't get in trouble because you're part-time. The sexual harassment don't apply to you because you're part-time. It's fucking stupid. Like, I'm under part-time rules. I can go fucking finger bang some missus while trying to
fix no sense. It's,
because I'm part-time, while the rest of you guys have to adhere to the sexual harassment policy.
Everybody that works for that company should be under it. I worked in the same kind of industry, like the same kind of rules when I worked in the oil industry in Alberta.
They are under
when you work on a camp up there, you can't drink and you can't do drugs. So I'd have to do a drug test every so often to make sure I didn't have any drugs in my system. You weren't allowed to drink on camp. listen, it didn't matter who the fuck you were. You walk in, you could be the president of the goddamn company. You weren't allowed on that site if you had drugs or alcohol in your system. Doesn't matter who you are. They find out you got it, you're done. I've seen guys who were up there, like construction supervisors, guys up there making like $300,000 a year, $400,000 a year, gets fucking booted at the door because he's got a brick of cocaine in his bag. He thought he was untouchable. I'm a big shot here. I can do what I want. No, man, you can't because everybody's under the same rules. WWE should be the same way, man.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure... Well, man, I'm pretty sure it is the same fucking way. I'm pretty sure that people that are part-timers, for the most part, have the same rules. The only difference is we're talking about Brock Lesnar. And apparently, everything applies to everybody in the history of fucking wrestling except for this douchebag. So this guy can come and go, talk all the smack he wants, do all the drugs he wants, say shit, fuck, ass, titty, fuck on TV, it doesn't matter. Talk about how he's only in this for the money and all this. He can do all that. It doesn't apply to him. The WWE just made this little statement about part-timers or not. I think that was just a cover-up so they wouldn't have to suspend Lesnar. They did all that they made themselves look like fucking ridiculous just to protect Lesnar so he can fight at SummerSlam, and it makes no sense. Now, Vince Russo has suggested, I read on WrestleZone, I didn't watch the podcast, that if he was Eva Marie, and if he was Del Rio, or if he was Paige, he'd get his ass to a fucking lawyer pronto and sue WWE's ass for what's happened to them the last 3 weeks, this week, as opposed to Lesnar. And he suggested, I think, that Brad Maddox do the same for his prick comment. Meanwhile, this guy's out here saying shit and stuff on my TV. So, whatever they're doing, they're alienating the locker room, I'm pretty sure. I'm not there. I'm not a fucking insider. I don't know what's going on, but I'm pretty sure if I was a betting man, it's kind of like, I got a job, and if someone came in and didn't have to go by the same rules as everybody else, the guy that was put up on the pedestal would start to get talked about, gossiped, and made everybody would resent him. And that's all walks of life. It's not just wrestling. So if I was going to be a bet man, I'd say the locker room is getting divided. There's a lot of tension, and there's probably a lot of resentment towards Brock Lesnar right now and he doesn't care because you know what he's going to do? He's going to come in, wrestle a 17-minute match with Orton at SummerSlam, walk to the back, get in a limo, hop on a plane, go back to Canada, shoot beer again. Or something. And that's because that's all he fucking does. Series. He doesn't have to put up the repercussions. I think it's absolute horseshit. Survivor Series, he might come back for it. Maybe. But if there's no repercussions, it's a fucking joke. Like I said, the guy doesn't draw anything. He was on Raw last week. Raw did the exact same rating he did the week before when he wasn't on it. Nobody tunes in to see Brock Lesnar anymore.
So,
do people, wrestling fans like seeing him? Yes, cool, when Brock Lesnar fights.
I agree somewhat. Is that...
What doesn't bring in any fucking
we're not trying to make excuses for Del Rio and Paige and Eva Marie. If they failed the drug test and had a hit against the wellness policy, well, that's on them. The only thing I think we're saying is that everybody should be held under the same umbrella. Right?
Oh, God, yeah.
So,
sure.
If The Rock... you're telling me The Rock can fucking shoot up full of steroids, get as big as a house,
of course
walk into WrestleMania next year, and be fucking monstrous, fail every drug test in the world, and nothing's done about it. So, this is the thing. It's bigger in UFC because Mark Hunt, who Brock Lesnar beat a few weeks ago, is talking about suing the UFC, apparently, from what I understand, because his last 3 opponents have all failed drug tests after they beat him. So what he's saying is that, listen, I'm going out and fighting these roided up monsters. I'm just a normal human being. I'm putting my life at risk. I'm taking on these fucking genetically enhanced super beings, and I can die at any second. So, and it makes sense. You walk out there and fight Brock Lesnar, there's a chance he's going to punch you in the face and crush your goddamn skull, and you're dead.
Well, you go and fight Brock Lesnar without roids, you're probably going to die.
It doesn't really apply so much to wrestling, but
really good
it does in certain ways because, that plus you're still in a physical altercation with somebody. So Lesnar's a big dude. So let's say he's all roided up, and let's say he goes a little bit too far. Let's say he goes Ahmed Johnson on old fucking Heath Slater on Monday, and ends up dropping him on his goddamn head and almost kills him. Look what he did to Bob Holly. There you go. Lesnar already broke Bob Holly's neck once, so he's already got a pretty fucking bad track record for it. So, would you feel comfortable going out and wrestling a guy, even though it's quote-unquote fake wrestling, when you knew he was fucking roided to the max? No, I wouldn't. You go and smack him in the face by accident and he roid rages and murders you in the goddamn ring. You know?
I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it at all.
I wouldn't be comfortable with it. So I would say that everybody's on eggshells down there and everybody's pissed off. From what I understand, from what I've read, is that the morale in the locker room is horribly low.
No, I mean, like, put yourself in this situation. So you're at work one day, right? And you go into work 7 days a week. You work 10 hours a day. You've been there for 4 or 5 years. You're getting paid average. You're making decent money, but you're like, I'm comfortable. All of a sudden, one day, this guy walks in and does the exact same job as you. Because Brock Lesnar's only doing the same job as fucking Neville. He's doing the same job as every other wrestler. He comes in and wrestles. And all of a sudden, you find out that, A, he only works 10 dates a year. So he's only going to come, this guy's coming to work, he's only going to come in for 10 fucking days a year. Not fucking 250 or whatever normal people work. 10 days. On top of that, he's also going to get paid 7 or 8 times as much money as you make for working 200 days a year in 10 days.
Scripted promos.
On top of that, he's not going to have to be based on the same rules that you are, as in drug tests, getting in trouble, scripted promos, all that. So you don't have to deal with that either. And then you look at and you go up to your coworkers. Do you think you're going to go up to your coworker and say, "Yeah, I like that guy. He's pretty cool. Yeah, this is really working out for us." And on top of that, imagine if he didn't bring any more business in for your company. As in, if you were a company that was in ad sales, and this guy came in and he was supposed to sell ads, but he didn't really bump ads. He just did his job the same as everybody else, which is what Lesnar is wrestling. He doesn't really bump ratings or buy ratings. Do you really think that everybody in your fucking office space would be like, "I like him," or do you think that all of a sudden people would be fucking pissed? And I'm pretty sure that everything that I just said that time can relate to what wrestling is now. I think everybody's on eggshells, everybody's pissed off, and morale is probably super fucking low. I mean, it's human nature, man. These guys might be characters and wrestlers. That's a weird job to have. You're a wrestler. That's weird. But they're still human beings. They still have the same emotions and the same conflicts and the same things as everybody else. So, what Vince is doing for Lesnar, and I ask you, I beg an answer, why? What does Brock Lesnar have? What does he do? Make Vince McMahon, who's a goddamn billionaire, by the way, one of the most powerful people in entertainment. He doesn't take a back seat to anybody. Why? That's the only part that nobody seems to talk about. Everyone says this is how it is, and he's Brock Lesnar, but nobody actually steps back and goes, okay, why? Why is Vince McMahon
I don't think anybody
letting
knows.
Brock Lesnar get away with this
you look at the
and run
past,
roughshod over his fucking company?
He fucked off.
And that's the
in
$1
what,
million
2004
question.
was it?
I have no idea.
Yeah, so he just left in 2004, told everybody to go fuck themselves, walked out because he didn't like people and all this other bullshit.
Yeah, 2004.
Goes to the UFC, totally bashes wrestling for one. Said he didn't want nothing to. Yeah, said he didn't want nothing to do with it. All was a joke. He just did it because he could make money at it and yada yada yada.
For like 10 years.
Then he comes back to the WWE. Yes, it was a big deal when he came back. Like 4 years ago, whenever he come back, whatever, I can't even, the exact dates. But when he did come back, that night after WrestleMania, it was a huge deal. Everybody popped, I popped, everybody did. I don't care who you were. You popped and Brock Lesnar come out that night. So, yes, he destroys John Cena, he brings up pay-per-view buys a little bit, it's a good deal. Now, it's just a joke. Now, it's like, I don't care about seeing Brock Lesnar. Not one iota do I have of caring about Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton on Sunday night. I don't give a fuck who wins. I don't care if both of them loses. It doesn't matter to me at all. I don't understand why they're fighting. I don't understand the story behind it. There is no story in my opinion. Just because they come into the business together and they don't like each other. I don't even know. They're not in the same show, so it doesn't make any sense. don't understand it whatsoever. So this whole Brock Lesnar thing is just dumb to me. I guess there's enough talking about that, I guess, because we're wasting enough time on Brock Lesnar. So we'll talk about just a little quick note on Brooklyn Saturday night for NXT. So they get the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2 Saturday night. That should be a good show. It's basically, if you look at the card, it's TNA. Well, like, I think some of the matches are going to be good, but look at the talent. It's basically a TNA show from like, what, 7 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. You're looking at Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, and Samoa Joe are the 3 major guys down there now. It doesn't make any sense. Like, they're taking these guys from TNA and bringing them over and making them into like NXT stars. I think some of the matches are going to be phenomenal. I think Shinsuke Nakamura versus Samoa Joe is going to be an excellent match. I think Bobby Roode versus Cien Almas or whatever the fuck his name is. I think it's going to be a good match. Austin Aries versus No Way Jose is going to be a decent match. I don't even know who No Way Jose is really, but Bayley and Asuka is going to be a decent match.
It's okay, but the only match I'm looking forward to is Nakamura and Samoa Joe. I'll watch it just because of that. Well, that'll be okay too, but like I think Bayley should already be up on the main roster. Like her in NXT is like, all right, it's time to fucking. She's like the only one left from the original, like when it got hot a couple of years ago. She's the only one left here. Really, it's gonna be okay. But I looked at the card yesterday, and I remember watching Bobby Roode like 5 years ago in TNA, and he was okay. But it's 5 years later. He's older. I mean, I don't know. Guy does not too much for me, I guess, but. There might be some good wrestling, but as far as the actual pay-per-view, it certainly doesn't have the feel of last year's Brooklyn show or the show before Mania this year. You remember like how everyone was kind of basically saying like this is going to be one of the best pay-per-views of the year. Yeah, I don't think there's that much going on with it this year. Like I'm looking forward to the main event really. That's pretty much it. Like I'll watch it now. The Brooklyn show is the same night as UFC, which is a segue into. I just want to hit on this quickly. 100%. Fucking is Conor McGregor shit, and what the hell do you think of this guy? Is he just doing it for publicity just to get a fucking angle going for Mania or something?
Career after. So let's say he walks out Saturday night, Diaz fucking destroys him. Let's just say I'm not I used to be a huge UFC fan. I'm not as big as fans of what I used to be. Which you probably will. Let's say Diaz goes out, destroys McGregor. So McGregor's lost basically all fucking legitimacy, really. He talks a big game, he can't pull it off. He pulled it off for a little while, but it seems like he's losing his thunder. He's looking at a couple of years down the road, let's say 2 years down the road, and he wants to get out of UFC. Well, now he's got somewhere to go, man. He's already a built-up heel in pro wrestling because he said they're all pussies and all this other stuff. Chael Sonnen did the same thing, but he didn't get into it. He has done some like commentating for pro wrestling shows. Chael Sonnen has, but McGregor is one of those guys I could see go into the WWE afterwards, even for a one-shot kind of like Floyd Mayweather kind of deal. But he's building up for money. He's all about the money, man. He'll trash talk just to get people talking about him.
Well, that's what I want to know, because I don't know anything about the fucking
That's what I said, too. He said John Cena was a 40-year-old, fat, failed Mr. Olympian.
Did he call John Cena
I was like,
fat?
okay.
What the fuck is he watching?
He might be 40, or however old he is. He might be a failed Mr. Olympian, but John Cena is no way, shape, or form fat. No. Oh, yeah.
No, and by the way, John Cena makes a hell of a lot more money doing what he's doing the last 10 years than he ever would as an Olympian. So, to call him a failed Olympian is probably a good thing, because, by the way, John Cena is, like, one of the biggest stars in the fucking world, man. Like, I would almost say, I don't know enough about UFC to say this, so this could be totally off base, but I would almost say that John Cena, more people know who John Cena is, or at least as many as Conor McGregor. Like, John
everybody
Cena
knows,
is
like,
fucking
everybody knows Conor McGregor now.
12 years. So for him to call him a failed
anything,
somebody
who Conor McGregor is, they know
of any kind,
fucking idea who he was.
Well, I take it to the next level of just not just a male straight white audience. If I ask my missus who John Cena is, not just because I watch wrestling, because she knew who John Cena was when I met her before I even told her I watch wrestling. Like if I would have mentioned John Cena's name 5 years ago when we had our first date, she wouldn't know. If I asked her who Conor McGregor is, she has no fucking idea who Conor McGregor is. If I ask my old man who John Cena is, he probably knows who John Cena is. He's gonna be like, "Oh, that's a wrestling guy." If I ask him who Conor McGregor is, he's gonna say, "Who the fuck is that?" So I guess I don't know anything about him. That's what I wanted to know. I assumed he was in it for the money, but I didn't know. But the other thing that strikes me as odd is all these wrestlers coming out and saying, "Why don't you try doing what we do?" Almost like they're setting it up already, like teasing them to come in the ring. You know, it just seems like a storyline already happening to me. And what the fuck is wrong with these UFC fans anyway? What is their fucking grief with wrestling, man? Like, are they like fucking? It's almost like they're like kind of worried about wrestling fans, or they're insecure about wrestling fans. I find it's been like it for years. I always find if you mention wrestling to a UFC guy, they get super fucking defensive. Almost like they're worried about them or insecure about the fact that people like wrestling too, or that it's a hard business to be in, and that it takes a lot of work, and it probably takes, and most people would agree, it takes more work on a yearly basis to keep going as a professional wrestler on the body anyway, more of a physical toll. And it's like they can't accept that because it's fake, and it makes them insecure about it. But I'm really tired of the UFC people. You wrestling fans never talk about UFC, really. We don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about UFC, Johnny. I would never talk to you about UFC unless something big was going on. What they do doesn't faze me. It's complete opposite. Fucking what's his face there? Rogan talked about wrestler. They all talk for something that's so irrelevant and so fake and so shitty. They sure spend a lot of fucking time talking about it. All of them. Every UFC guy.
I was a fan of both. Like I said, I used to be a bigger fan of the UFC and MMA in general.
I found it always to be that way.
Well, I knew lots of
No,
them
I mean
as well.
like, but you always liked wrestling. I mean like, just picture yourself as a UFC guy that didn't think wrestling's a joke. They all seem to be like, they all seem really fucking like taken aback by the fact that it's like you can say something like, "Oh, I watch wrestling," and they're all like, "Oh my god, you watch wrestling," and then they got all the commentators for UFC bashing it, and all the fighters bashing it. It's like, why do you care? That's all I wonder. Like, I don't understand why everybody cares so much about what wrestlers are doing. But it's almost like it goes hand in hand, even though one is fake. But the McGregor shit, like, is he setting up for Mania or something? I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know anything about Diaz either, but didn't he already fight and Diaz win the first fight?
That was Anderson Silva.
Isn't that the fight we've seen up in Boston Pizza?
Yeah, Nick Diaz. Yeah, he's fighting Nick. Conor McGregor
and
is.
Diaz?
So, but what happened? What happened was basically Diaz dominated him for like 5 rounds, and at the end of the 5th round, Diaz jumped on him and choked him out. So McGregor's kind of being, McGregor's going to say like, "Oh, it was just a lucky, he got away with it," and this kind of deal. It's going to be different this time, and yada yada yada.
Yeah, well, I mean, tomorrow night is we're in Canada for people that don't know because nobody listens to us. But I unfortunately can't watch UFC or NXT tomorrow because the last
basically Canada's going to shut down at 8:30 tomorrow night.
And up here in Ontario, it's a big deal. Everybody's throwing parties, and all these clubs are throwing parties and stuff. So yeah, it's basically like when the Beatles, the rooftop show that the Beatles played, which was their last show, when they did it on top of that roof or whatever. Yeah. This is basically Canada's equivalent to that. So, I'll read the results of the UFC card, even though I don't really care too much about it, but I'll read it anyway just because I'm interested in a little bit of it. And then I'll watch Brooklyn on Sunday. But before we go, and just so people know, we had a little technical problem earlier, and we basically redone this whole entire podcast twice in the last 2 hours. I just wanted to tell everybody that. I want to go through the SummerSlam matches because we're not going to do another one before SummerSlam, and I want to get your predictions and just toss it out. We'll go quickly through it. We're almost at an hour, but let's get your thoughts on SummerSlam.
Started like Sami Zayn and
coming up. So first match: Lesnar and Orton. Thoughts, predictions? Is that the? All right. Okay. Let's start at the bottom.
Yeah, so the
Carmella,
one I got
Becky
is
Lynch, and
Natalia, Alexa Bliss,
Naomi
and to
versus
be determined
Natalia,
versus Carmella,
Eva
Naomi,
Marie,
and
well,
Becky
not
Lynch.
there obviously, and Alexa Bliss.
Who cares, really? Who cares? I'm gonna say
Right,
Carmella. I'm gonna say the faces are gonna win.
I'm gonna ask you for your prediction on this. I don't know if you fucking care, but. Okay, so who's that? Carmella, Becky Lynch, and Naomi? Alright, let's move on from that. Cesaro versus Sheamus in the first of a Who Gives a Fuck for Nothing series.
Kickoff. The Sami Zayn and Neville versus the Dudley Boys.
Okay, and by the way, we haven't talked about this match notes.
No, yeah. Yeah, that's the one. Sami Zayn and Neville versus the
Dudleys.
Dudleys.
Oh, you want to talk about the kickoff too? How many kickoff matches are there?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Well, obviously Dudley's going to lose. They're fucking goddamn jobbers, man.
Yeah, that's
the
a
Dudleys
no-brainer.
Need to go fucking ram their car into a fucking transport truck and get it over it. Like, go away. You had your run. You had your time. Just go away. Yeah, you suck. Like, who cares? So, Cesaro and Sheamus, we discussed it. Best of 7 for nothing. There's no point to have this. Even if there's no end goal here. Even if they put the U.S. title shot or something on the line at the end, who the fuck wants to work through 7 matches just to get a title shot?
Say Cesaro's
when Reigns loses like twice in 2 nights and gets to... It's stupid. So you're going with who? Sheamus? I think Sheamus is going to win the first one, just so that they can actually make Sheamus look credible for the rest of it. Because right now, Sheamus looks like a fucking joke, and Cesaro isn't a joke right now. So the only way to make this seem credible is like for Cesaro to go down like 2-0 maybe, and everyone start to wonder like, holy fuck, Sheamus actually might pull this off, and then Cesaro start coming back. But I'm going to pick Sheamus.
Yeah.
Miz is the Intercontinental Champion versus
that's not on the main card.
Crews. This is on SummerSlam? Oh, you gotta be taking the fucking
Apollo
piss out of
Crews
me. This
won
ain't an actual match on
the 3-way against Baron Corbin.
This doesn't even have any build-up.
Somebody else. I can't remember who the fuck it was. He took on somebody else. It was Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, and Kalisto, I think it was, or something. And Apollo Crews won, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Fucking... I watched SmackDown.
But I'm going...
Miz is champion on SmackDown. They didn't even do a segment, did they?
I want the Miz to win, but I think Apollo Crews is winning.
Alright, well, so who you... Alright, I'm going with the Miz, because Apollo Crews is greener in grass, and he ain't ready for no fucking Intercontinental Championship. But... so far, we've agreed on only one. We'll see what happens. This is what makes it fun, though, for podcasts, because we can come back on here next week and I can brag about how I won and you lost.
I got to go with Jericho and Owens. They're probably not going to win, but that's what I'm going to say.
Enzo Amore and Cass versus Jericho and Owens. Okay, I'm going to say, if they're planning on keeping Jericho and Owens together, and this isn't just a one-off, then they'll win. But if this is a one-off just to fill the card at SummerSlam, then Enzo Amore and Cass are an actual tag team.
If Jericho and Owens wins, it's going to be some shenanigans
not a
so
one-off
they can
Jericho and Owens
continue this.
Together for a few months.
That's what I think.
Then they obviously got to win their first match.
Steven?
Yeah, I got no problem with Owens and Jericho being on a team because they're fucking hilarious, Jeremy. And Nathaniel. So like the boys are fucking comedy gold, really. I mean, they're like fucking, they're like old, what's his face, old Mike Myers and old Dana Carvey, but that's how good they are. Right. So. Alright, I'm gonna be honest with you right now. We're 4 matches of 5 at the pre-show. This card looks fucking horrible. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never really actually looked at it until right now. I'm reading this in like real time because I haven't actually looked at the whole card. And so far, this looks like a goddamn heap of shit, man.
Yep.
Miz and Apollo Crews, Cesaro, Sheamus, and Carmella, Becky Lynch, Naomi versus Natalia, Eva Marie, and Alexa Bliss. Is this SummerSlam? This is fucking horrible. And even the next match, The New Day versus the Klubski.
Biggie. But now they're like doctors or something. I don't know.
Because I was actually before this when the Klubski eat fucking New Day there a few weeks ago, twice in a row, but yeah, they ruined that. Alright.
Gallows and
New Day's had the belt for a year. They won it last year. I was home in Newfoundland. We watched SummerSlam together.
Biggie off TV.
And that's when they won the belt.
When he's not actually injured at all. So they wrote Big E off TV, so it makes it seem like Gallows and Anderson can beat Kofi and Xavier Woods. That's what I think's happening. Yeah.
So you reckon that the club finally gets it? All right, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I think the club's gonna win. I don't think they should. Like, I want them to win because they need it, but they just keep kind of like pulling and then taking away.
They should have just come out and been just like I said before.
They were doing alright for a couple weeks, and last week on Raw they lost me again. Like, that was.
There's no need.
But yeah,
there's no need of them coming up pretending they're fucking doctors and just being broskis and showskis and all this other stuff.
That fucking segment, by the way, segment was fucking wretched. Oh my God.
They need to come out and they need to be just beat the hell out of people. They need to be that kind of tag
microwave or something. I wouldn't be paying attention to it.
The next match I got here is John Cena versus AJ Styles. I'm going to say, Styles won the first one through shenanigans, right? I'm going to say Cena probably wins this one then.
Yeah.
And then they'll have the blow-off next pay-per-view, maybe? The next pay-per-view is a SmackDown pay-per-view too, so...
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm kind of done. Yeah, I'm kind of done with this feud, but like, it's just, they should have just did 3 matches like they normally do or something. It's been going on. Like, Cena came back like 2-3 months ago, and they're still kind of doing it. I hope AJ wins. I'm gonna say Styles is gonna win, and it's just the end of the feud. Cena doesn't need to win. Who gives a fuck? He'll still be hosting fucking goddamn SBs next year or something. Doesn't matter. Styles should just win and this feud's over. I don't want to see this go into September. The feud, it's lost its fizz to me. Like, it might be, it's going to be a hot crowd on Sunday. It'll be a good show, but really kind of hope this is the end of it, and I hope Styles wins. I'm going to pick Styles.
You're the same age. So we got next up is Rusev and Roman Reigns.
You want that young buck AJ Styles to win?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Roman Reigns on that one too, I think.
Yeah.
I think he wins that one.
Roman Reigns!
Yes, yeah.
Well, I just want to know who won on Raw. You said Rusev won? Oh, good Raw that you can't even remember who won the main event. Okay. I'm going to just fucking keep going opposite of you just for a laugh because it makes the pay-per-view more exciting. This is basically like us betting on the Super Bowl, so I'm going to go with Rusev. I think Reigns is still going to be punished. I think they're going to give him another slap on the wrist. Maybe one more loss. Rusev's doing good as United States champion, man. Like, if I was them, like, Roman Reigns, he's an other guy. He doesn't really need a mid-card title. He's kind of just always going to be
next
upper
up, we got the
main
WWE
event anyway.
Women's Championship match.
Rusev doing good with the belt.
Sasha Banks
I'm going to say Rusev
Charlotte.
Just for the larf.
Dana Brooke is banned from ringside.
I don't give a fuck about this. Like, they've ruined Sasha Banks for me. She's mad corny these days. Like, I don't even know what the fuck she is. She was on commentary last week. I was put a goddamn bullet in my face. Like, she's all awkward on them mic.
This is what I'd like to see.
I don't know what they got done to her. She's a good wrestler. It's going to be a good match.
Sasha Banks wins.
This is going to be a good match.
Dana Brooke comes out and attacks her after the match. So Charlotte and Dana Brooke beat her down. Bayley makes... Because I heard rumors that Bayley was going to make her actual debut at SummerSlam. So, if Bayley loses tomorrow night against Asuka, then I think she will be there on Sunday. So she's going to come out, run in, make the save, then turn on Sasha Banks. That's what I think. That's what I'd like to see happen. Then they'd have Sasha Banks versus Bayley.
Really?
So I'm going to go with Sasha Banks as the winner.
Oh my god. Oh, Thon with his bold predictions.
You're not gonna pick Charlotte. No way. You hate Charlotte.
All right. Well, I'm disappointed with. No, I don't like Charlotte at all. Like, she's a good heel, but I just don't like her. Not because she's a heel. I don't know. I just don't like her. Her mic skills are fucking hilarious to me. But Sasha Banks, again, I don't know. I'm not really into Sasha in her main WWE run. Like, I'm fucking doing this all the time. All these NXT guys that I watched last year, I don't have the interest in anymore that I had when you were in NXT. I don't know if it's just me, or it's just because they're not being used right on, like, the main show, but I was watching NXT last year, and I was fucking loving Sasha and fucking liking all this shit that was happening with all these NXT guys, and since they came to the main roster, it's like they lost a step, or they lost their fizz, or they're just not the same. I think they're not working a 150 crowd audience or something. Like, that's the worst part, is they're so used to working, like, 300 people, which is easy. But working 15,000 is different. I don't know, like, the Sasha Banks Charlotte match, I think it's going to be fucking, it might steal the show, though. Like, as an actual wrestling match. I'm going to pick fucking Sasha Banks, too, because I fucking hate Charlotte. I wish she died of car accident. Next up is, Ambrose versus Ziggler. Alright, this one here is, this is time for Chris's tidbit of beep, beep, Topher's tidbit time. Old breaking news here. I can't give my prediction without giving the backstory. Apparently Ambrose is in shit for saying Lesnar is lazy and calling out WWE Creative on the Austin podcast. So, out of nowhere, I'm going to go with Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam in 2016 becomes the new Universal... Or what's this for? Oh, yeah, the regular one? Yeah, the blue one. He becomes new champion because Vince and Triple H are Charlie's pieces of shit, and they're going to just take it out on fucking Dean Ambrose. Even though I disagree, I think Ambrose has been doing a really good job as champion.
I agree, but like a champion. I'm going to do the same thing you did earlier. Just go the opposite. He looks like a guy that could be a champion for a long time, but I think they're going to punish him for what he did. I also, a little tidbit about the podcast with Stone Cold, from what I understand, is that Stone Cold was legitimately pissed off because he felt that Ambrose was working him on the podcast. Yeah. So, you know, all those questions he was asking him, and Ambrose was kind of like skating around the questions or like not giving him any info.
What?
So apparently Steve was pissed because he wanted to actually do a podcast, and Ambrose was kind of working him and not answering any. Like he couldn't lead him anywhere. He kept saying like, "Well, you had a hard childhood," and he was like, "No, I didn't. I had a pretty good childhood." When apparently all that wasn't somewhat really true. So it was all just kind of a word. Like Ambrose was kind of playing it off as a work, and Austin wanted to do it more like a shoot-ish kind of deal. And that's why, apparently that's why Austin seemed legitimately frustrated and pissed off there at certain points. I mean, he looked like, all right, that actually kind of happened. I guess he's not giving me anything to work with here.
I thought that Austin should just let Ambrose fucking kind of be himself. I don't want to get caught on this topic, but I thought Austin was being, like I said it before, a bit gigantic fucking dick, to be honest with you. Like, do you want the guy to go on there and say, like, oh yes, my mother raped me up the arse for the fucking dildo, my father beat you with a fucking sledgehammer every night, my childhood was shit, and, like, what did Austin expect him to say? Ambrose thinks his childhood was okay.
Yeah, and I think that's what I mean. Like, Austin was trying to get more out of him than what
Austin was fucking
wanted to give him. And it was kind of pissing him off. But yeah, and Austin was kind of getting pissed off. I also heard Vince didn't like the comment.
Yeah, like maybe Ambrose actually...
Ambrose made that Ambrose was Vince McMahon's favorite wrestler right now or something. Even though he said it was a joke, but I heard Vince didn't like it or something. Yeah. Yeah.
This could be. This is where there's this like fine line, this gray area between like don't listen to everything you read on the internet. There's a chance that none of this is real, and Ambrose is picking the WWE champion right now. And he's going to beat Ziggler, and we're just reading way too much into it because it's something that we're on the internet. So, I'm still going to pick Ziggler. I don't know if the story's yeah. It seems, if it is, then they're super childish, because I'm sorry to tell you, when you ask people to subscribe to WWE Network for $9.99 a month, it's supposed to be because you get the Stone Cold podcast. And what happens on the Stone Cold podcast is you get wrestlers outside of their comfort zone, and learn more about them in a shoot-style environment. So to punish someone for doing what you advertise you will do seems absolutely fucking ridiculous to me. Oh goddamn point, Stone Cold podcast is to put people in there so Stone Cold can ask them questions that you wouldn't typically hear or get asked, and they shoot out. That's why people pay to get the WWE Network, is for that reason.
We'll see.
So then to punish someone
Yeah,
for
I'm
doing
going
what
to say
you
Ziggler's probably going to win, but I'll go with Dean Ambrose
it's
just to be
fucking retarded.
opposite.
So I don't know how true the story is, but Ziggler is the answer for that one.
Man, that's a hard one, actually. Like,
I got a question.
I like
we got
both of them.
We got to move it first.
I'm
Who
going
do
to say
you want
Dean
to win?
Ambrose. Like I said to you before, Ziggler, he was given 2 chances with the title, man, and he didn't really wow anybody as a champion. So I don't know if... I think it's Dean Ambrose's time to give him a chance. He's only had it... Well, he defended it once in a triple threat. Give him a chance with it, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think he should.
Yeah, something like I said, he's only had it basically. He
Playing the
won
hot
it
potato
at
with
the
the bill
pay-per-view.
like a lot.
Then he defended it at the next one, and now it's this one.
2
So
months maybe or something. Yeah, so I let him run with it. Like, I don't think you should take it off the game. Like, that's just... I would... They definitely shouldn't take it off him to put on a guy that's been around, like, 9-10 years, you know what I mean? Like, I like Ziggler, too, but... I don't know. Ziggler doesn't really need to build. He's kind of just Ziggler. You know what I mean? He's like Kane in Big Show.
Alright, so
He can step into the main event when you need him, but... He's just basically going to be flopping around in Big Turn the rest of the time.
CrossFit.
So then the next one is Balor.
Well, I'm gonna go with Balor on this one just because
Balor
Balor's
versus
Balor.
old CrossFit Jesus.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either, but I'm just gonna go with him just because
No
I'm a
chance.
Balor mark.
No chance. Put the belt on fucking Balor. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to pick, like, what I think they're going to do and with the banding. I don't know how they could sell Balor champion right now already. I just don't
Well, see,
do it. I think it's
what I
like,
talked
if
about
you're a
last
Balor-
week.
I think,
is that
honestly, if you're a Balor
I don't see him
fan
putting the
or
belt
mark,
on him either, but
you
they
probably
booked
hope he
themselves
doesn't
into a
do it.
corner because
and
now
I think he takes...
the demon
Like,
seems weaker than the actual regular Finn Balor if he loses. Makes no goddamn sense. I'm not... Shenanigans is the only way because I'm not going to go through everything I went through last week again, but I feel they booked themselves into
What
a
if there's
corner
some
with the whole
shenanigans?
demon thing because if he loses clean to Seth Rollins for the title, he looks weak. When he looked super strong 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or whatever, when he beat Rusev and Roman Reigns in the same goddamn night as a regular Joe, as regular Finn Balor, comes out as a demon and loses, makes no goddamn sense to me. So it'd have to be some shenanigans there at some point. Maybe to build Balor's next feud, I don't know. And I don't even know who that would be, but we'll see.
And who the...
God.
No, like that's the thing is who's going to come out and help Rollins? The only person I think of is, oh God, please no, Triple H, because you go back to that storyline where he was the chosen one, he got hurt, he lost his belt, and now Triple H they're going to basically go back to where they were with Triple H still wants him to be champion, and it wasn't his fault he got hurt and all this shit. I hope to God that doesn't happen. But like I think that's what I think they brought the Demon out on Raw. So now they can have him lose, if that makes any sense. Like, so, if he comes out for the first time as Demon, like the very first time, and loses, it looks absolutely fucking retarded. And in their heads, I think they thought if they bring him out as a Demon beforehand, now if he loses as a Demon, it won't mean as much because they've already seen him as Demon. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think, like, they kind of, like, did it just to kind of get the Demon thing out of the way, so they can have him lose without, like, people saying, well, he lost his first match as Demon, but now that we've seen it, I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm going with Rollins. Not that I don't want Balor to win, like, it's kind of interesting. Like, Balor's an interesting guy, right? Like, and we're talking about him so much. And he's doing something right. I don't know who I want to win. Like, I like Rollins a lot, too. Like, I think Rollins overall got more of a world champion material, just because I've seen him so long, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Balor probably does, but I'm so used to Rollins. But I'm going to go with Rollins anyway. And then we'll see what happens. But that's a toss-up.
All right, so the main event is the one that nobody cares about, but
I don't know what
I guess it's the
gotta
main
find
event. So
they got to weasel their way into that one.
the main event, Lesnar and Orton. I don't.
What are we at now? I'm going out against the cuff. I actually do care. Like, I'm actually into this match. I don't know if I'm the only person in the goddamn world, probably. I've always kind of liked Orton. I know you're not a big fan of Orton, but that's the best part about wrestling. Orton, when he's bad, is really bad, but when Orton wants to be good, throughout his, 12 years that he's in wrestling, when he wanted to be really good, I thought he was an excellent performer when he's on his A game. And he came back kind of rough there, but even that segment at pay-per-view, I thought he was kind of funny and played a bit of a tweener. But I've been entertained by him. I think he looks like he put on a bit of weight, and he's not exactly like the Orton of 5 years ago. But as far as the character goes, I mean, the RK out of nowhere on Lesnar made no sense, but he got the crowd going. And they showed a video package last week, and I don't know. I guess the only reason I'll just do one more thing. The only reason why I think I'm kind of into it is. Based off Orton, the goddamn 12-time world champion, I can see him, legitimately in a wrestling world, winning. It's not far-fetched. So if Orton wins, nobody's going to be like, how the hell did he beat Brock Lesnar? The guy's a fucking legend. He's a 12-time champion. So if he, it's almost like, I guess that there's a little bit of...
Well, the way I'm looking at that match is that
I
want Orton to win.
Most people seem not to be into it too much. I'm looking forward to the match. I think
Orton's a full-time guy, so I'm going to see Orton next week. You know what I mean? Lesnar wins, guess what? I don't see Lesnar again, but I see Orton next week and he's lost the Brock Lesnar, so he kind of loses a little bit of his luster. So that's why I sort of want Orton to win, but I don't see them having Orton go over Lesnar at the main event of SummerSlam. I really don't see it happening. Just because Vince has been sucking Lesnar's cock for the last year or so. I mean, he's beat Taker, he's beat fucking John Cena, he's beat Ambrose, he's beat Reigns, he's beat everybody. So I don't know, man. It's a hard one. It's another toss up for me. I'd like to see Orton win because he's a full timer and he's gonna go somewhere else, like the story will. If Lesnar wins, the story ends. We don't see Lesnar again for fucking 2 months. You know what I mean? I don't like that. So I'd almost in my opinion, I could see that. I want them to use that as an excuse for Lesnar to leave for a little bit. So Orton wins, Lesnar goes away, we forget about him losing to Orton, and he comes back at Survivor Series to fight somebody else or something. You know what I mean? But if Lesnar wins and Orton comes out next Tuesday on SmackDown, they need to build a new feud for Orton. Well, I've lost my kind of... Oh, well, Orton just lost to Lesnar. He's not going to beat this next guy. You know what I mean? What makes me believe he's going to beat anybody at this point? I know it's Lesnar. Doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean? You have him lose, and then you're going to have him going right in. He kind of loses a bit of the luster of him coming back, right?
Yeah. I agree. I don't know what they're going to do there either. There's a couple, I think it's one of those matches where, Lesnar's always, it's in Brooklyn, and Lesnar is Lesnar. And no matter what we say, it's going to be a hot crowd. And Randy Orton's Randy Orton. And as much as the build-up has been, the video package on SmackDown did wonders for him. Because it actually sold him as, they showed him in 2002, 2003 when they came out together. And it's kind of sold it as 15 years
Maybe. I just got an idea.
I think the crowd's going to be really hot for the match. Even though the build-up hasn't been... The build-up's been okay, but it hasn't been great.
Maybe.
But
Heyman turns on Lesnar and goes with Orton. Because Heyman just signed a new contract with WWE. So maybe it's a more of a steadier contract than what Lesnar's is. So maybe they'll have Heyman on TV with Orton, and the excuse would be that Heyman was running OVW when both of them came in. So technically, Orton's a Paul Heyman guy. Maybe.
I wouldn't mind it. Listen, it's not a bad idea. It's not even... it's outlandish because he won't do it probably. But as a wrestling storyline, I mean, Heyman's been side by side with Lesnar now for 4 years since he came back. And he was with him in the early 2000s, so they've never had a falling out on TV as far as I can remember, correct? Like, they've never had, like, a storyline where they were at odds. So it would be an ultimate shocker for most people if he turns. I'm going to go I don't know, I'm just reading, this is based off shit I read this week, and this is not going to happen, but on SmackDown, Wyatt and fucking Orton had, like, this little moment, and I'm pretty sure that's where they're going with the next storyline. And then Goldberg has been talking trash, and so is Lesnar, so I'm going to go with, say, main events, and Goldberg and Wyatt interfere, both of them, and Goldberg takes out fucking Lesnar, and Wyatt takes out Orton, and it just ends in a shit show, and there's
like a false finish, like a no finish.
Be setting up Goldberg versus Lesnar and Wyatt, something like that. I don't know how it's going to go, but my prediction is double interference. Wyatt starts. Well, Wyatt, I got a feeling like it's basically going to be Wyatt comes out, takes out Orton, while Lesnar's down. Lesnar gets up, goes to pin Orton after Wyatt's done his damage to Orton, and then Goldberg uses hits. He comes out, takes out fucking Lesnar. Orton rolls over, gets pinned.
That sounds believable to me.
But Orton's got fucking take on Wyatt next, and then Lesnar needs to settle his score with Goldberg after that. I guess. But is that going to happen? I don't fucking know. But the only way that would work is if Wyatt comes out first and takes Orton out, and just as Lesnar goes to pin Orton, Lesnar comes in and fucking destroys him, or sorry, Goldberg does, and then rolls Orton on top of Lesnar for the win. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, is there any way to get out of that match with some kind of fuckery? Like, even the Paul Heyman thing, I can see that too. Something like that gotta happen. I think we can agree on that. Something's gonna happen where it's gonna be interference from Goldberg or fucking Heyman turns on Lesnar. Something's fucking gotta happen. But I don't know. On a scale of 1 to 10,
I'll give it a 6 probably.
How much are you looking forward to this year's SummerSlam? Like, are you looking forward to the show?
My interest now, it might supersede my interest. Like when I actually watch it, it might be better than what I expect. Maybe I'll lower my interest, so then I won't be so goddamn disappointed. How about that? So there's one more thing before now it goes.
What's that now, Bob? Okay, let's stop doing that every goddamn 5 minutes. I'm an ass man.
No, this is
deadly. Is this a segue into a Billy Gunn fucking segment?
Sticking an ass.
Are you gonna end it every week on ass man?
And I'm gonna kick him? But yeah, but you're picking in ass.
I don't know what that means.
Sounds kind of gross. He's like, I like to pick me ass. I'm gonna kick some ass.
Here, man. I think so.
That's what he says. I like to pick him. So little time.
Fucking pick him? Oh, this is fucking deadly song.
There's a video of him too, like doing all his movements and stuff, and he's like rubbing his own ass and stuff.
Oh, you know what?
Better turn it off before we get to the whole fucking content strike against.
Do you think that Billy Gunn's gonna come up and interfere in Lesnar Orton match? Can you imagine if all of a sudden? Can you imagine? Is those whole fucking Orton's on Lesnar's shoulders for the F5, and all of a sudden, I'm an ass man!
Alright, so we're like an hour and a half in, man. Gotta get this on the go.
Fucking deadly. Well, we got lots to talk about. Bye. I told you that the other night, just was too long. Alright, well, we're gonna let everybody go. Everybody, remember, we got Holy Foley after SummerSlam. Don't forget about Holy Foley, which no one gives a fuck about except for his daughter's hot. And SummerSlam Sunday night.
Legends with JBL with Sting.
Brooklyn / UFC on Saturday night. And tomorrow night is, or tonight is what? Sorry, what's on tonight? There's some new content. I wonder if we're going to talk about Shaman, because traditional about, even though Sting has nothing to do with Shaman. What are your thoughts on DX, Sid? Oh, God.
Maybe
Alright.
some Muslim.
See you later, everybody. We'll be back fucking probably maybe maybe SummerSlam and then SummerSlam. I don't know where we're gonna do next one. The problem is we can't tell where we're gonna do next one. There's just so much goddamn content. It's like, do we do one after SummerSlam? Do we wait
We
until
almost
Raw's
need to
done
try
and
to
do
do
another
2 a
one?
week.
So we got SummerSlam and
You
Raw.
almost need-
Do we like, what
No,
do we
you
do? We
almost-
SmackDown? Like,
You almost need to
there's
do
so much
one
fucking
like
wrestling these
Monday
days.
in the
Hard to know what
daytime
the fuck
before
we're doing.
Raw, like after a pay-per-view. And then do
That's
one...
fucking retarded, man.
Like,
Like,
or
see,
maybe
all
a
this-
pay-per-view week we'll do one on a Monday and then try to do one again on like a Wednesday or Thursday or something. No, well, nobody's listening to us anyway, so who cares?
Why do you think
Alright,
there's
so it's
anyone
almost-
out there in their
it's
right
time
fucking
to
mind
go,
in the car
Chrissy.
world watching this to us twice a week?
Oh yeah.
I gotta eat.
Oh.
Hungry, man.
Calm down, would you? Buddy, gotta go take a little shit or something right off the air.
Alright.
Boy, I got two big old.
Are you gonna do your
steaks,
outro, or
I've
what's
got
on the go here? You're the one that
the
handles the outros, because my outros are all mad weird. I'll be like, hey guys,
Hello?
see you next week there.
Wow, your outros are mad awkward. Alright, everybody, listen up. We're going to talk to you after NXT, Brooklyn, SummerSlam, and probably Raw. Lots to talk about. Everybody enjoy the weekend of wrestling that is to come. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening. You know, half of it's fucking boring, but it's going to be a good show, I think, on Sunday. So we'll talk to you after SummerSlam, and I'm sure we'll have lots to say. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We're out. Ringside Reality.